So when you can't man your own camera, you have to take a boom pole to autofocus. Nailed it. All right. Today, I'm talking about my absolute number one most favorite piece of gear, the Zoom H6. The Zoom H6 is a 4-input recorder, portable recorder with stereo microphones that come with it. This thing can do more than any of the other recorders in its price point. I love the Zoom H6 for a variety of reasons. I just thought I'd give a general overview of why I like it so much. So once you get it, first out of the box, you see it comes with an XY microphone capsule and a mid-side microphone capsule. The stereo mics I use all the time. In fact, in the music release I talked about last week, I actually used the Zoom H6 stereo mics outside to record some tornado sirens while tornadoes blew through our neighborhood, and use those in music, which is super cool. You will notice on the Zoom H6 there are 4 inputs. This small device has the capability of recording 4 channels of audio at one time. All 4 channels it delivers 48 volts of fan-in power to. The best part about these inputs is they all have knobs, so you can actually twist and turn them. If you're like me and you've worked on other stereo recorders or portable recorders in the past that are in a lower price bracket than the Zoom H6, you'll notice that many of those, the input controls are little buttons that have to control a digital fader situation. Not good. The other big plus about the just front panel of the Zoom H6, so there is 20 decibel pad switches on each of those inputs. So if you're at an event, you're recording a feed off of a board. You know, sometimes those feeds can be incredibly hot audio because they're meant to go out to speakers. They're not necessarily meant to be recorded. Well, with the H6, you can hit a 20 decibel pad, which just like attenuates the signal by 20 dB before it hits your actual fader or knob, as we talked about. And that really helps with hot feeds, and you can get a much cleaner signal without risk of distortion. So that is wonderful and number one. Another thing I really love about the Zoom H6 is the customizability of fan-in power voltage. Plus 48 volts of fan-in power is typical for normal microphones, small and large diaphragm condenser mics. But if you have a microphone, oh no. But if you have a microphone like mine, the Countryman EMW right here, this needs less than 48 volts if you don't want that whooshing noise floor. However, today, since I'm recording everything into the H6, including the Rode NTG3 and the Blue Bluebird, also this Rode Link wireless kit deal, this has to have 48 volts today because you can't change channel to channel voltage on the Zoom H6, but you can just change them all to 12 volts, between 12 volts and 48 volts. So all that to say, today it's going to have a whooshing noise floor, and we're going to do a test between all 5 of the mics I'm using today with the Zoom H6 here in a minute. So anyway, you can customize, the point is you can customize your fan-in power, which is great, the voltage. Another huge thing about the H6 that is so much better than the H4n, it's got a color, beautiful LCD screen or whatever it is. On the very front of it, you see your levels before you hit record. You can just monitor without having to hit record. That's the dumbest thing about the H4n. I just don't even understand that, and it's all kind of like black and white, old school Game Boy colors, and This has all your channels right in front. You see the levels, you see where your peaks are at, and then you can turn on tools. You can put compressors on the channels. You can put a limiter on the channel if you're not sure about monitoring your source. Use those tools to your advantage to help you out before you have to go into post and deal with clipping or something. The other thing it has is low cut filters, which is really helpful if you're outside. You want to cut out all that low wind rumble, which, by the way, side note on wind rumble, it comes with the Zoom H6 stereo mics come with a foam piece to put on the XY mics and the mid-side mic, but I would recommend buying a much more dense, like dead cat type of thing to put on the XY mics because they're such sensitive mics. They're going to pick up even the most gentle of like breath if you're near them. I find myself breathing into it by accident all the time when I'm like using it, or wind outside. So for a quick comparison to how intense wind affects these XY mics, check this out. So there you go. Get a windscreen if you're using any microphone outside, especially a shotgun microphone. Another great feature of the H6 is that you can press a physical button on the top of the unit and actually monitor channel by channel. So you don't have to listen to everything all at once if you're recording all 4 microphone inputs and the XY mics at the same time. That would be a terrible monitoring situation because you wouldn't know what was what and all the above. Well, you can actually press these little buttons and listen to a channel, monitor it by itself, move on, and then be sure and click all the buttons that you want to record before you hit record. Now, the H6 also has a line out, so you can take an attenuation cable and bring a signal out of the H6 and into a camera with an 1/8" jack. I've done this with the GH4 a lot because the GH4 has terrible stereo microphones on it, and if I ever want just a high quality feed of audio to be baked into the camera, or baked into the file rather, I just put the Zoom on top of it, send that feed right into the GH4, and I'm good to go there. So one last thing I like to do with the H6, I bought a shock mount and handle for it from Rycote off B&H Photo, and this screws into the bottom little thread underneath the H6, allows for you to hold it with no handling noise at all because it's a shock mount. It like kind of suspends it in air. And if you're just out using those stereo mics trying to record ambient audio, that thing's perfect, man. I just take that I have that with me a lot, honestly. Like, I'm just always ready for an audio situation. The last thing that I will say about it that is actually a huge improvement from anything before it, like, the Tascam makes a bunch of entry-level recorders. There's the Zoom 1 and the H2N. The H4N is hugely popular. It's a $200 recorder. But all of them have pretty nasty preamplifiers. And what that's going to do is cause that noise floor, like we've talked about before, that kind of sound, you know, that you hear when you try to boost your audio levels. Well, Zoom upgraded the preamps for the H6, so they're a lot cleaner, they're a lot quieter. They're by no means like perfect or beautiful, but they are not noticeable. We'll just put it that way. So all that to say, I'm loyal to Zoom and I love the H6. It's my favorite piece of gear. I wouldn't go anywhere without it, even on vacations. As far as the microphones I'm using today, quick comparison between the Rode NTG3 shotgun overhead in this room with March Madness going on behind it, the Bluebird right here, which is that really great entry-level condenser microphone. The Rode Link wireless kit has a decent microphone mounted on my shirt. The Countryman EMW, also mounted on my shirt. And the old standby, the always and ever faithful Shure Sm57. I've had this mic longer than anything else. It's a wonderful instrument mic. I've never used it for anything video, but here it is, and it just got invited to the party today. And so here's all the mics together for no reason. Just a little mic comparison just because I like doing that. That's all for this week. Sorry I didn't post a video last week. I got crazy busy finishing the beginning and the end, the music project. Everything's done, set for release March 31st, so watch out for that. And the GH5 is scheduled to ship right here to my house next Wednesday, and if I get that and get going in time, I want to do a full review on that camera, see how it compares to the GH4. But I ate my words last time. I promised a review, so I don't know. Lens Reynolds keeps telling me when they're going to send it to me, and it's been pushed back weekly for the last 2 months. And I know they don't know what to expect because I don't think it's even shipping yet. I'm hoping to just get it before a lot of other people get it because I really want to see this camera and what it's capable of. Happy March Madness. Go Jayhawks. I'll see you next week.